What if I told you I figured out the reason why Greenbull has been fasting for the previous 3 years? Is Admiral Greenbull connected to Zoro and the Shimotsky clan? What is Admiral Greenbull's Devil Fruit? What will his role be in the story moving forward? Well, what if I told you I also figured out the perfect 1v1 matchup for Greenbull that could come during the final war saga? Today I will tell you exactly how Admiral Greenbull could become a true fan favorite amongst the One Piece community. So if you want to help grow the channel and push this video out to more people, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell like Luffy and Skypiea. And make sure to stay tuned to the very end of the video if you want the answers to all of these questions. Now let me tell you about our flying plant-based enemy, Greenbull. First, let's start out with what we actually know about Admiral Greenbull, so make sure to pay attention because all these little details may play a bigger factor than you realize. Greenbull became an admiral around the same time as Fujitora, as the government held a draft to replace powerful figures like Garp and Sengoku from retiring, and more importantly Aokiji leaving and Akainu moving up to fleet admiral. The power was necessary, but it makes you wonder just where on earth did the Marines manage to find people like Fujitora and Greenbull just sitting around. In chapter 905, a conversation between Greenbull and Fujitora, we hear Greenbull say, "How's old Vegapunk doing?" And this led to countless speculation tying Greenbull to Vegapunk. Is he a cyborg? Did Vegapunk use Greenbull and his Devil Fruit to create the SSG, like how the pacifistas contain Kizaru's light lasers? We also find out that Greenbull is maintaining a 3-year fast, and it seems extremely likely that this might have something to do with Greenbull's Devil Fruit not allowing him to eat normal food, or normal food being something that he doesn't need or does not enjoy. Greenbull even says, "Well, if a pretty lady asked me to open wide, I suppose I'd chow down, and that is why I haven't had a bite for 3 years." Okay, so this implies a few possible ideas. Number 1, Greenbull is simply a simp who has a weakness for saying no to beautiful women, and number 2, Greenbull simply has not put a bad female in the last 3 years, living a quiet, lonely life as he will only eat a woman's cooking. And number 3, maybe this hints at a sad backstory for Greenbull where he was separated from his wife, or she may have died 3 years ago, and due to this he has not been able to get over it and he refuses to speak to women in general.
You're a real mess, bro.
Now in chapter 1052, we finally get the reveal that Greenbull is on his way to Wano and he is traveling with a flower on his back. And he's flying or drifting in the wind. And then Akainu has to clarify with Greenbull not to do anything unnecessary. And it gives you the idea that Greenbull, like many of the other admirals, is a complete wildcard. Someone who is difficult to control and command, hence the name of an admiral. We also have seen Fujitora, Aokiji, and Akainu and many others bend the rules and technicalities, or they take things to the extreme. And there is no doubt that Greenbull is powerful, and with this vast amount of destructive power comes these wildly extreme personality traits where admirals are not afraid to show off. Just the fact that Akainu is reinforcing this really makes me excited to see Greenbull, because what this means is that he is truly unpredictable, and more importantly he has a mind of his own and a will of his own despite being under Akainu's jurisdiction. This also stems from Greenbull refusing Akainu's request to remove Fujitora from Mary Joa. Greenbull actually seems like a relatively chill admiral from what we've seen, although knowing Oda, this could be possibly a misdirection to his true, wacky, and ridiculous nature. I hope this all makes sense so far, and before we do move on to Greenbull's perfect matchup that could be coming in the final war, make sure you hit that like button and make sure you hit the notification bell to really help boost us in the algorithm. Greenbull can go down as one of the greatest marines in all of One Piece, and I would really recommend you go watch 3volt's video explaining why Greenbull could be Zoro's father, and I believe this as my headcanon until proven otherwise, and it leads me to Zoro and Greenbull both sharing a similar introduction, with Zoro not eating for days and Greenbull even on the more extreme side not eating for 3 years. My belief is that fasting could be a part of the Shimotsky tradition, as we see Yamato adapt this from Ushimaru, who claims that samurai do not get hungry, and this could maybe explain why Zoro survived all that time in his introduction if he had been training this entire time. Ushimaru had a Greenbull on his coat, and I explained why Greenbull and Zoro's names could be references to Ushimaru and Onimaru, so if you are interested in this theory, I'll leave my Shimotsky D Zoro video in the description. So considering that Greenbull is on his own entering Wano, it really does enhance the possibility that he has some kind of ties to the Shimotsky clan and Ushimaru and maybe even Zoro. Now with this in mind, you might assume that he would be the perfect matchup for Zoro. But we know a certain trope in One Piece that Oda loves to incorporate is a son not caring or blatantly disregarding their own father. Oftentimes, fathers like Yasop, Dragon, and Shanks abandon their children in One Piece, and other times Ace chose his own path with the Whitebeard Pirates instead of following in the footsteps of his blood father, Goldie Roger, and same with Sanji, who despises Judge. With Luffy and Sanji both getting reveals for their important fathers, why not Zoro, who is hinted at being from Wano? Zoro, like Luffy, wouldn't care or be interested in speaking to his father, but I believe that Sanji and Greenbull could be a perfect matchup. A battle between Sanji and Greenbull being a battle of Sims, and the way that I read this was that Greenbull does not eat specifically because he hasn't come into contact with beautiful women in the last 3 years. If Greenbull truly is a simp, then maybe this is intentional. What if Greenbull intentionally stays away from women because he is self-aware of it being his biggest weakness? And the best thing about this entire interaction will be that Zoro might hate his own father even more because he will be ashamed when he realizes that his own father is a lot more like Sanji. I think it could be some classic Oda humor to twist the reveal of an admiral being Zoro's father, and now what you have is someone who looks like Zoro but acts like Sanji. And just imagine the embarrassment that Zoro would feel, and we know that Oda loves to go all out with the quirkiness of each admiral, so I think it could be the perfect opportunity. The reason why Sanji might have a personal interest in this is because Greenbull being a massive simp and reacting to Nami like how Sanji normally does. If Greenbull hasn't been in the presence of a beautiful woman in 3 years, we might see a post-time skip Sanji like reaction to Nami from Greenbull. We also know that Sanji often gets into strange, horny battles, for example with the unlucky situation against Bon Chan, his failure to hit a woman during Ina's lobby against Khalifa, and with Black Maria during the raid, and his perverted battle against Absalom, and finally the battle of the two Komurasaki stands during the raid when he fought against Queen. The reality is that Oda loves putting Sanji into these situations when it comes to his fights. And so noting that track record, I think it makes perfect sense for Greenbull to be the candidate to face Sanji. And what makes this even better would be the added element of him looking like Zoro, but more importantly the fact that Greenbull has been fasting for 3 years. Obviously Sanji is a cook, so this could play perfectly into the story between their fight. By the end of the battle, Greenbull and Sanji might come to terms of respect, a mutual understanding, as they both have a critical weakness to beautiful women, so much so that Greenbull says that he'll only eat when a beautiful woman offers to feed him. And knowing the sexism that comes with Sanji, there's also the idea that cooking can be seen as a feminine trait, sometimes seen as a stereotype that women should be naturally good at cooking like Yor and Spy Family. If Greenbull is a sexist villain with the females belong in the kitchen mentality, he could potentially ridicule Sanji for being a cook. This battle now becomes a clash for Sanji's reputation against Greenbull being an even more sexist person than Sanji, who is also attacking him to the core. Sanji might even declare to Greenbull that if he defeats him, he will cook a feast for him and Greenbull will be forced to eat. Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous and outrageous, but when has a Sanji fight ever not been? Tying in Greenbull fasting for 3 years to Sanji being an all-star chef is something that I would really look forward to, and by the end of it, who knows, maybe Greenbull will end up being a close friend to Sanji, only further annoying Zoro as he is all about honor and Bushido code, and his father is far from this. I just feel like Greenbull will be a comedic and hilarious admiral, contrasting Fujitora, who feels a lot more serious and a lot better matchup for Zoro. So the opposites here being Fujitora versus Greenbull, who is seen laughing and smiling like a madman during his introduction. And so now that we know Greenbull's future matchup, and we know that he directly tells us he hasn't eaten any food because he has not seen any beautiful women, it's time to focus on his devil fruit ability. So once again, keep everything we spoke about in the back of your mind as it all comes full circle. For years, there has been plenty of speculation about what the final Admiral's Devil Fruit could be. We've had Aokiji with Ice, Akainu with Magma, Kizaru had Light, and Sengoku has the Golden Buddha, and now Fujitora with the Gravity Fruit. All amazing Devil Fruits in their own right, so we can expect something truly amazing from Greenbull. And so I asked you guys on a community post what you think Greenbull's Devil Fruit will be. Jake Seta says he could have a Devil Fruit like Hashirama from Naruto, but more pronounced as he could control all plant matter since he's awakened, and he could use photosynthesis photosynthesis, thus not needing to eat. James sees as a Venus flytrap since eating is a pain and he could prefer photosynthesis. Swashbuckler, Defile, and Nox mentioned that he will be the god of the forest, and so really most of you seem to believe that he will be tied to a plant-based fruit, and honestly I love that idea. It fits to the fact of him not eating for 3 years, which is a ridiculous amount of time. The only problem that I see is that I don't think it could be as powerful as Aokiji's ice or Akainu's magma or even Fujitora's gravity. But knowing Oda, I'm sure he could find a really creative way to introduce these plant-based abilities. And so if any of this is even remotely true, all I can say is that Sanji is about to start a forest fire, if you know what I mean. And so another intriguing detail that we should mention is Greenbull's possible ties to Vegapunk. Yeah, it's likely that he knows him simply because he's an admiral, but what if there's more to this? Greenbull says, how's good old Vegapunk doing, implying that he actually cares about how Vegapunk is doing. With Sanji having ties to Judge, Greenbull might have ties to Vegapunk, making this battle even more interesting. With the Mad Science Group connection, we could see Greenbull as a possible cyborg genetically modified to the point where eating is not a necessity. And maybe this is a reach, but at the end of the day, Greenbull is a mystery man with not all that much to go off of. So if you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, share it with a friend, and make sure to hit that notification bell. And if you want to continue the journey to help us uncover more of One Piece's biggest mysteries, click on one of these 2 videos.